Listen and practice.
You find them on the ground, in trees, and even in special houses built just for them. Their mother sits on them for weeks, but she does not hurt them. She just keeps them warm. Their parents have wings, and they will too. Their most common colors are white and brown. They can be big, small, or in between. Be careful. Some are very soft and can break easily. What are they? Eggs, of course. All around the world, people eat eggs, but chicken eggs are the most popular. Boiled or fried, they taste really good. The Chinese are world leaders in chicken egg production, producing nearly 160 billion eggs a year. Here's a challenge. One chicken can lay about 250 eggs in 1 year. That's a lot of eggs. Can you figure out how many chickens it will take to lay 160 billion eggs?
Listen and practice.
My mom always gives money to charities. We get more and more calls to our home. Letters are sent to Mom, all of them with good reasons to ask for donations. But Mom does not have enough money to meet all her urges to give. She has to consider her choices carefully. One day, Mom received a letter with the title Gift of Hope. The letter said, "It's not money, it's hope. It's the gift of hope for families in poor countries." Mom continued reading the letter. With $19, you can give 3 hens to a family. The hens will lay eggs, which the family can then sell. With this money, the family can pay for their basic needs. Mom smiled as she read. She made a plan to save money and send to this charity regularly.
Listen and practice.
Well, we all have very different things. I have my breakfast at 7 o'clock and I don't eat very much. I have some orange juice and a piece of bread with jam. My grandparents make lots of cooked food for breakfast, but I don't have any of that. My grandpa has a cup of coffee, an egg, mushrooms and some beans. My grandma just has an egg and beans. She has coffee with her meal and some water too. She always feels thirsty in the morning. Mum leaves the house very early for work in the morning. She doesn't have any breakfast at home. There are some cafes near her office, so she gets a cup of coffee at one of those. She has some biscuits with the coffee too, I think. Dad's very healthy. He gets up early and goes running, then he comes home and has breakfast. He has fruit and toast. He doesn't have any butter or jam on the toast, just toast, brown toast. He has a large glass of water.
Listen and practice.
Fog is a cloud that is close to the ground. But do you know what fog can do to us? One day, my dad rented a small boat. He left shore. After sailing for a few hours, he suddenly ran into fog. It was like being in a cloud on the water. He could not see a thing. There was nothing he could do. He sat in the boat and waited for the fog to disappear. It got dark and cold. Then he heard a loud horn. It was getting closer. Was it a big ship? Would the captain see him? He ran into a small island. The island had a foghorn on it. He stayed on the island until morning, and then he sailed home. Isn't fog a powerful thing?
Listen and practice.
Jose is a teenage boy. He used to do well in school. But lately, things changed. He started skipping class. Soon, his parents got a phone call from the school. Where was Jose? With a little investigating, they found out that their son was going to an internet cafe to play computer games. They were very upset. The next weekend, they took him to visit his grandfather. His grandfather is a farmer. He grows vegetables, cotton, corn, and many other crops. He walked with his grandson in the fields, looking at the crops. Grandpa said to Jose, "I plant every crop, each in its own season. Otherwise, I would have nothing to harvest. Everything has its time." He stopped and looked at his grandson. "For you, it's the same," he said. "I don't want you to become a man who missed the season for planting." Jose learned a good lesson from his grandfather.
Listen and practice.
Feel your head. Under the hard bone is your brain. Your brain makes it possible for you to do nearly everything. Sit down, stand up, hear a bird sing, watch a movie, taste ice cream. You name it. Your brain makes it possible. And what's more, you don't have to think about it at all. Your brain is soft and gray and is made mostly of water. It is filled with electricity. That's how it works. Electricity moves from your brain throughout your whole body. Your brain has nearly 100 billion little electric receivers. That's about the same as the number of stars in our galaxy. There is enough electricity in your brain to turn on a small light bulb. We don't understand everything about the brain, but one thing is certain: it is very powerful. Each day, a person has more than 70,000 thoughts. And size doesn't really matter. For example, Einstein's brain was about 20% smaller than most human brains, and he was a really smart guy.
Listen and practice.
Mr. and Mrs. Jones bought a farm. "I have always wanted to live on a farm," said Mr. Jones. "Me too," said Mrs. Jones. "But this isn't a farm yet. We need animals to make it a farm." "I would like a cat." "Let's just get a cat for now. That's enough animals for me." So Mr. and Mrs. Jones got a kitten and named it Callie. "Now we have a real farm," said Mr. Jones. "No, we need a garden to make this a real farm," said Mrs. Jones. "Let's get a geranium for the windowsill," said Mr. Jones. "That will be enough of a garden for me." So Mr. and Mrs. Jones bought a geranium and put it on the windowsill. "Now we have a farm," said Mr. Jones. "We have an animal and a plant. This is just the right farm for us." And so it was.
Listen and practice.
Once, when my father was 8 years old, he was beaten by my grandfather. At that time, there was a famine in our country. Farmers were not able to harvest anything. Everyone was hungry. All the adults in the family went to work in the fields, hoping that the next year they would bring a good harvest. My grandma cooked a few sweet potatoes. That's all she had for the whole family. She asked her oldest son, my father, to bring food to the adults in the field. On the way, my father couldn't resist the hunger he felt inside his stomach. He ate all the sweet potatoes before reaching the field. He got there empty-handed. My grandfather beat my father hard, for he had eaten all the food for the whole family. Since then, my father never let his parents down again. He grew up to be a responsible person, and he never beat his children.
Listen and practice.
Jerry was different from the other kids. He was 10 years old, but less than 1 meter tall. The boys would not play with him. The girls made fun of him. Every day he cried before going to school. He did not want to face another day at school. "It's just the way you are," his mom said. "You were born this way. Someday you might grow big and tall, but for now you are short." One day before school, while Jerry was crying, he saw a really tall man. He was at least 2.25 meters tall. The tall man asked, "What is the problem?" The boy explained what was wrong. The tall man smiled. "When I was a boy, they teased me too. I was too tall. But you know what? Today I am a pro basketball star. Now everyone wants to be my friend." Jerry learned something new that day. It's no fun being different, but you never know how things will turn out.
Listen and practice.
Turning old things into new things is called recycling. One thing that can be recycled is cans. Cans are made of aluminum. Aluminum is a metal. It is light and strong. It can be used over and over again. This saves energy and money. We buy many things in cans. Soup and pop come in cans. Tuna and tomatoes come in cans too. Old cans should not be thrown away. Old cans need to be taken to a recycling center. A recycling center will make new cans out of your old cans. Recycling cans is easy and fast. First, the old cans are cut into pieces. Then they are melted. Next, they are flattened into sheets. Finally, they are made into new cans. What other old things can be recycled?